Right now, in 2026, there is a list of bills sitting in your mailbox and your bank account that you may not actually have to pay in full anymore, simply because you are a senior. Some of these are federal programs you already qualify for and never applied to. Some are automatic the moment you turn a certain age. Some require one phone call or one form, and if you never make that call, you simply keep paying full price for the rest of your life for something your neighbor down the street stopped paying years ago. I went through every major program available to seniors across this country and built the full list, 12 bills, credits, and fees that either shrink or disappear once you qualify. Stay with me, because a few of these apply to almost everyone watching, and the last few are the ones people miss the most. My name is Hank Mercer, and before we go any further, if this is the kind of information you want delivered to you before the deadlines arrive rather than after, hit subscribe right now and turn on the notification bell. What I cover on this channel tracks Social Security rules, Medicare updates, and retirement planning changes as they happen, because the rules do change, and the people who are subscribed find out in time to act. Now let's get into it. The first bill is federal income tax on your Social Security check itself. For years, a lot of retirees paid tax on part of their Social Security benefit without ever fully understanding why. This year, that changes for a large number of you. There is now a new federal deduction specifically for seniors worth up to $6,000 for a single filer and up to $12,000 for a married couple where both spouses qualify, on top of your regular standard deduction. If you are 65 or older and your income as a single filer is under $75,000 or under $150,000 combined as a married couple, you get the full amount. It phases out gradually above that, disappearing entirely above $175,000 single or $250,000 married. This deduction runs through the 2028 tax year, and it can mean a meaningfully smaller tax bill or none at all on the income you already worked your whole life to earn. The second bill is your Medicare Part B premium, and this is one of the biggest ones on this entire list. Most people don't realize Medicare Part B has a monthly premium at all. They just watch it get quietly deducted from their Social Security check. In 2026, that premium is $202.90 a month. If your income is limited, there is a program called the Qualified Medicare Beneficiary Program, QMB for short, that pays that premium for you entirely. To qualify in most states, your monthly income needs to be at or below roughly $1,350 if you're single, or $1,824 if you're married. With resource limits around $9,950 single and $14,910 married, though your home and your car don't count toward that limit. Some states, including New York, Connecticut, Maine, and several others, have dropped the resource test completely, so even if you have some savings, you may still qualify. If your income is a bit above the QMB line, there are two more tiers, called SLMB and QI, that still cover the Part B premium alone, just at slightly higher income cutoffs. That is over $2,400 a year staying in your account, instead of leaving it every single month. The third bill is your Medicare deductibles and copays, and this is where QMB becomes even more valuable. If you qualify for the full QMB program, it doesn't just stop at the monthly premium. It also covers your Medicare Part A and Part B deductibles, your copays, and your coinsurance. And here is something almost nobody tells people who qualify. By federal law, a provider is not allowed to bill you for any of that cost sharing if you're enrolled in QMB, even if they accidentally send you a bill. If that happens to you, you have the right to push back and report it to your state's Medicaid office or your local state health insurance assistance program. A lot of QMB enrollees quietly pay bills they were never legally required to pay simply because nobody told them the rule. The fourth bill is the cost of your prescriptions. If you qualify for any of those Medicare savings programs I just described, you are automatically enrolled in something called Extra Help, also known as the low-income subsidy for your Part D drug coverage. In 2026, Extra Help caps your prescription copays at around $5.10 for generic drugs and $12.65 for brand name drugs, no matter what the drug normally costs. And for many enrollees, it eliminates the Part D premium and deductible completely. You can also qualify for Extra Help on its own, separate from the Medicare savings programs, if your income is under roughly $23,475 a year as an individual, or $31,725 as a couple. This alone is estimated to be worth thousands of dollars a year to the people who actually claim it, and the application takes a single call to Social Security. The fifth bill is brand new, and it starts this very month. Starting July 1st, Medicare is launching something called the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge Program. Up until now, Medicare has been barred by law from covering medications like Wegovy or Zepbound when they're prescribed purely for weight loss, even though full retail price for these drugs can run anywhere from a few hundred to nearly $700 a month. Starting this month, if you're enrolled in a Medicare Part D plan or a Medicare Advantage plan with drug coverage, and you meet certain medical criteria around your body mass index and related health conditions like heart disease, high blood pressure, or prediabetes, you may be able to get one of these medications for a flat copay of $50 a month. Your doctor has to submit a prior authorization request first, but for the right person, this is the difference between never affording the medication and finally being able to use it. This program runs through the end of 2027, so it is temporary, but it is real, and it is worth a conversation with your doctor now. The sixth bill is the cost of many preventive medical visits and screenings, and this one is easy to forget because it has quietly existed for years. Once you're on Medicare, you are entitled to a yearly wellness visit at zero out-of-pocket cost, along with a long list of preventive screenings, including mammograms, colonoscopies, bone density tests, diabetes screenings, and most recommended vaccines, all at no cost to you when your provider accepts Medicare assignment. A lot of seniors still assume any visit to the doctor comes with a copay and skip screenings because of it. If you haven't had your annual wellness visit this year, that is a bill you never had to pay in the first place. The seventh bill is your home heating and cooling costs. There is a federal program called LIHEAP, the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, that provides a one-time cash grant, typically somewhere between $200 and $1,000 depending on your state, household size, and income, sent directly to your utility company to bring down your heating or cooling bill. It is a grant, not a loan, so you never pay it back. In most states, eligibility runs up to about 150% of the federal poverty level, though some states use a higher standard based on state median income instead, and if you already receive SNAP or SSI, you may be automatically considered income eligible. Here's the part that matters most for you specifically. In most states, households with someone 60 or older get priority processing, and can often apply earlier in the season than everyone else before the funding runs out. Funding is limited and does run out each year, so if this applies to you, don't wait for winter to actually arrive before you apply. The eighth bill is your property tax, and this is one of the most inconsistent programs on the list because it depends entirely on where you live, but it exists in some form almost everywhere. Most states and many counties offer some kind of property tax relief specifically for senior homeowners. Whether that's a homestead exemption that shields part of your home's value from taxation, a senior freeze that locks your property tax assessment in place so it can't keep climbing as your home's value rises, or a deferral program that lets you postpone paying property tax, often at low or no interest, until the home is eventually sold. The age thresholds, income limits, and exact benefit vary enormously depending on your state and even your specific county, so I can't give you one number that applies to everyone. What I can tell you is this. If you are a senior homeowner and you have never once called your county assessor's office to ask, what senior property tax relief programs do you offer? That is one of the most commonly missed savings on this entire list, and it is sitting there waiting on you to ask. The ninth bill is the entrance fee at national parks and other federal recreation land. If you're a U.S. citizen or resident age 62 or older, you can get the America the Beautiful Senior Pass, which covers entrance fees at national parks and other federal recreation sites for the rest of your life, for a one-time cost of $80, or as an annual pass for just $20 if you'd rather test it out first. It also gets you a 50% discount on many amenity fees like camping and boat launches. If you've been paying full daily entrance fees every time you visit a park, or you've been putting off a trip because of the cost, this pass usually pays for itself in just a couple of visits. The 10th bill is the monthly fee your bank charges just to hold your checking account. Most major U.S. banks and credit unions will waive or reduce that monthly maintenance fee once you reach a certain age, commonly somewhere between 55 and 65, depending on the institution. This isn't a federal law. It varies bank to bank, and it is almost never applied automatically. The only way to find out is to call your bank or credit union and ask directly, do you waive the monthly fee for senior accounts? And am I currently getting it? It might only be $10 or $15 a month, but that is money leaving your account every single month for nothing. The 11th bill is your public transit fare, And just like property tax, this one depends heavily on where you live, but it is extremely common. The large majority of city transit systems across the country offer some kind of reduced fare for seniors, often starting at age 60 or 65, and in a number of cities, certain rides or certain days of the week are free for seniors entirely. This is never advertised well, and it is never applied to your card automatically. You typically need to apply through your local transit authority with proof of age to get a senior fare card or pass. If you're still tapping a full-price card every time you ride the bus or the train, check with your local transit authority, because you may be paying for trips you didn't have to pay for. The 12th and final bill is one that applies specifically to retired teachers, firefighters, police officers, postal workers, and other public sector employees. And it is money some of you are still owed right now. For decades, two rules called the Windfall Elimination Provision and the Government Pension Offset reduced or completely wiped out Social Security benefits for people who also received a pension from work where they didn't pay into Social Security. That has changed. Both provisions were repealed under the Social Security Fairness Act, and the repeal was retroactive, meaning eligible retirees were owed back pay for the benefits that had been wrongly reduced. The Social Security Administration has already sent out millions of these payments, but some cases, especially ones involving survivor benefits or multiple pensions, are still being processed even now. If you're a retired public employee or the spouse or widow or widower of one, and you haven't seen your benefit adjusted or received a retroactive payment, call the Social Security Administration directly and ask them plainly whether your record has been fully corrected. This has meant hundreds of extra dollars a month for some households, not just a one-time check. Now, let me pull the full list back together so you have it in one place. First, the new senior tax deduction worth up to $6,000 single or $12,000 married. Second and third, the Medicare savings programs, which can wipe out your Part B premium along with your Medicare deductibles and copays entirely. Fourth, extra help, which caps your prescription costs at a few dollars a prescription. Fifth, the brand new Medicare GLP-1 Bridge program starting this month, bringing weight loss medication down to a $50 copay. Sixth, your free annual Medicare wellness visit and preventive screenings. Seventh, LIHEAP, which can knock hundreds off your heating and cooling bill and gives priority to seniors. Eighth, whatever property tax relief your state and county offer homeowners over a certain age. Ninth, the America the Beautiful Senior Pass for national parks. 10th, a waived monthly bank fee. 11th, a reduced or free senior transit fare. And 12th, for retired public employees, making sure your Social Security Fairness Act correction has actually gone through. I want to be honest with you about something that runs through this entire list, the same as it does every year. Almost none of these programs are automatic. The IRS processes the deduction you claim. Social Security processes the application you submit. Your bank waives the fee only if you ask for it. There is no single office whose job it is to sit down with you and make sure you're getting everything you're entitled to. The system runs entirely on the assumption that you already know these programs exist, and most people simply don't. Not because they weren't paying attention, but because nobody ever laid the whole list out in one place. One more thing before I let you go, because it matters more this year than most. Whenever real government money or a real benefit like this is in the news, scammers follow right behind it. Nobody from Social Security, Medicare, or the IRS will ever call, text, or email you asking for your bank account information or a payment in order to release money you're owed. The real process always runs through your doctor, through Social Security directly, through your county assessor's office, or through a tax preparer you already trust. Never through a stranger asking you to click a link. If you have a parent, a neighbor, or a friend who's a senior, and even one item on this list might apply to them, send this to them today. None of these 12 things require you to already be an expert. Most of them require one phone call or one form, and that phone call is the only thing standing between you and money you are already entitled to. If this was useful, hit subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I'll keep tracking these changes as they happen, so you hear about them in time to act, not months after the fact.